Hey there, Carrie Rhoades here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for stopping by for another video. I'm excited about today's video because it features a stamp set designed by a friend of mine. My friend Chelsea Comer has started her own stamp line. You may know her as the Inky Stamper, and she sent me one of her brand new stamp sets to share with you. I'm so excited to help her out and show you her cute design. So I'm just showing you one stamp set from her line. There's a few, and then there's also going to be some dies. Everything is available today at her store, the inkystamperstore.com. The stamp set I get to share with you is called Dragonfly. This is the back of the packaging. It comes in this resealable bag. And so I'm going to be sharing some projects with you featuring this set. So let's get stamping. All right, let's take another look at this stamp set, Dragonfly by Inky Stamper. This set has a super cute dragonfly in it. It has a flower, a graduation cap, a cloud, which I love, a little flight path, 3 sentiments, some little cluster images. But I'm going to start with the flower. And I'm going to stamp that across the bottom of my card with clear pigment ink and emboss it with clear embossing powder and do a resist background. So you'll see me stamp this 3 times across the bottom, and I'm using the Fun Stampers Journey clear pigment ink, and this is going to create a scene for my dragonfly. So once I have that stamped, I'm going to bring in my little setup for embossing. I have some coffee filters that I've put inside of a Cool Whip container. It just helps hold my coffee filters, and then when I'm done, I can pull the top one out and pour the powder back into my container. It works great. So I heated up my heat tool. I preheated it so that when I take it to the powder, it's not going to blow any off. It's going to start melting it immediately. And I will have less warping because I put it to the paper when it was hot. Now I'm bringing in my Distress Oxide inks to make my blended ink background. I'm starting with Wild Honey and blending that onto the paper with an ink blending tool about 1/3 of the way up the paper. And then I will bring in my next color, Picked Raspberry. This one's going in the center of the card. I'm going to have it overlap slightly with that Wild Honey so that I can create some orange for this background as well. So you'll just see them start to come together, and I'll have that soft transition. And the reason why I'm getting such an easy transition and such smooth blending, I think, is because I'm using Neenah Classic Crest Solar White cardstock. This is 110 pound, but I love the texture of this paper. I mean, it really doesn't have texture, but I don't know, maybe it's the way they finish the making of this paper, but it's almost like you have a little bit of grace period once you apply the ink to actually move it around. It's very interesting, and I feel it's the best paper for ink blending. So here I am putting on the Seedless Preserves, and then I will go back with my other 2 colors, which I always like to do because that helps get that smooth blend between the 2 colors when you go back with the lighter color and blend that in again. And then now even more of that orange will show up as I do my second blend. And I got a little messy, so I cleaned that off before I added some more of the Wild Honey ink, and I think this background is gorgeous. I wanted a sunset look, and I think it's amazing. All right, so after applying the ink, I love to spritz water on my Distress Oxide background, so I was generous with my Distress sprayer and some water, and then I just blotted that up with a paper towel, which then I was able to use to clean off my glass mat. So there we have it, gorgeous, but I did notice at this point I missed some of the stem. So I'll go back and fix that later, but for now we're gonna go ahead and stamp this super cute dragonfly. He looks very Disney inspired to me, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with the movie The Rescuers, but it was one of my favorites when I was little, and I think that this dragonfly kind of looks like Evinrude, Although when I looked up pictures of him, he didn't exactly look like Evinrude, but he reminded me of it, so I might name my Dragonfly Evinrude. There you go. So I'm going to stamp 2 of these because I am making 2 projects today. So after stamping those, I'm coloring with my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. I am starting with the color turquoise green. It's marker number 42. I'm just going to outline the body of the dragonfly with this color and then color in his legs. And then I'm going to bring in a second color, a much lighter color, to blend that out. And that one is Haze Blue. It's one of my favorite colors of Zig markers. It's marker number 302. And I use this one a lot for shadows, which you'll see me do on the wings here in a minute. My third color is actually not a color. It's the blender marker. It's marker number 999. It is a marker with no color in it. So you can blend out all of your Zig markers with it. It's fabulous. So again, I brought back the Haze Blue marker to add some shadowing, some accenting to his wings. And I know it's super hard to see on the screen because it is such a light color, but it makes a world of difference. I like to use this marker also for glass objects. And to blend that out and add some shimmer, I'm using my super awesome Wink of Stella. Love it. So because these are water-based markers, you will find when you color over the zigs with Wink of Stella, you will get some blending with that. It will pick up a little bit of color. So then for Dragonfly number 2, I am using dark pink, marker number 27. And I'm doing this almost the same exact way that I did the first Dragonfly with 2 different colors of pink. So dark pink is the one I am tracing and outlining all the lines and filling in his legs. And then I'm bringing in peach pink, which I'm trying there on the side, and I liked the look. So this is marker number 202 that I'm blending it out with. And then again, I did use the blender pen for those bigger areas and not just the pink, just so that the color is not so concentrated. This dark pink is a very vibrant color. For the wings, I am bringing in bright yellow, and I am outlining it, and then I'll go back and blend that out. And it is kind of an orangey yellow, so I thought it would go really well with today's projects. I was trying to kind of make him match that blended background. So here I am blending that out with the blender pen. And then I'm going to bring in another color for his eyes. And this is Lilac number 83. And I just outlined it a little bit and then blended it out with that blender pen. And I'm going back in with the Wink of Stella because I feel like dragonfly wings should have shimmer. I love the look, and I think it just adds that something special that this dragonfly needs. So now you see I'm going to cut this out. But here's the thing. There is a die for this. I just happened to get my stamp set before my die because I got it in advance so I could have these projects ready for the release. And my die came about an hour before I did this voiceover, so the projects were already done. So you can die cut yours. Now I'm taking my white gel pen and filling in that missing stem piece, and it really helped finish it off and not look so naked and missing. I'm going to put that back into my Misty for the first time and stamp a sentiment across the top. It says, "You were always meant to fly." Isn't that perfect? Now this stamp set, you may have noticed at the top of the video, has a graduation cap in it, so you can put a little cap on your dragonfly, and this sentiment is perfect for grads, but also it can help people for a lot of different occasions, help them. It would be encouraging to them. That's what I mean. All right, so I'm mounting this onto a frame of black licorice cardstock. You'll see I die cut the center out of it because I didn't want to waste that paper. I just need like a tiny little edge all the way around. This paper is actually 1/8 of an inch larger than my card front, which measures 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. I just like that little tiny border around it. I use it a lot on my cards. I'm bringing in a piece of fun foam, but I don't want to use glue to adhere it, because if I put glue on that, it could reactivate the OXIDE ink from the back. So this foam piece actually had adhesive on one side. I just cut a piece of my adhesive sheets and put it on the other side so I didn't have to use glue. It worked fabulous. And I love using fun foam as a layer to give dimension to my cards because it makes the card so sturdy. I love a sturdy card. Next, we will put on the Dragonfly with an obscene amount of foam squares. If you're new here, that's my thing. I love to overuse the foam squares. I fill it up and then I know it's going to be sturdy. Again, with the sturdiness, it's my thing. I even cut one in half to make his tail sturdy. So snap, the backs are off and he's ready to go on the card. But I couldn't finish there. I had to embellish it. So I brought in my Rainbow Drops by Fun Stampers Journey. These are magic. See how this is like purple, but not the same purple as my card? But when I stick it to my card, because it has some translucency to it, it picks up the color behind it and it makes it so that it coordinates with the color I'm using. It is magical. So I'm also putting a yellow and an orange one on this card too, blending in with the colors in the background. And that finishes this card up with my little Evan Rude. But I had one more. You see him hanging out there? Yeah, I'm going to use him on a cute little box. But I felt like I needed a little bit more dimension to his wings. So I'm outlining just the edge with my orange marker, and that was just the thing that it needed. So now I'm going to put this on a box, a die cut box. I'm using the Treat Box die from Fun Stampers Journey. It's a fairly big die, and so when you die cut this, you need a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, which also means you need a large machine to run that through. I used my Platinum machine, and now I'm going to come in and fold this box on all the score lines. Here's my tip for you. If you have a die, a thin die like this that scores your paper for you, sometimes the score line is not too deep. Well, that's because they don't want it to cut the paper. So I find if you fold the flaps in the opposite direction that they're going to end up going, sometimes that's easier. And then you can fold them back the way that they are intended to go. So that's what helps me. But now that I have all of those folded, I'm going to stamp this. I'm going to use the cloud from this stamp set and whipped cream ink, and I'm just going to create a random background with this cloud because it is really cute. It might be my favorite stamp in this set. I like clouds. You could use this cloud on anything. So I'm going to just fill that up and make sure that the clouds go all the way around the whole box, not worrying about the flaps. And then I'm going to bring in the congratulations sentiment and stamp that on this box as well with black licorice ink. And I'm going to put this at the top of my box so I have room for my dragonfly. Then I'll lay the dragonfly on the box about where it's going to be mounted when I'm done. And that's just going to be a guide so that I can stamp the little flight trail stamp. It's really cute. It's a little dashed line all curled up. And this is going to wrap around the side of the box once this box is folded. And I think that's so fun. So now let's glue this together. I'm putting some glue on the bottom flaps. Of course, you could use some double stick tape, but I'm doing one flap at a time so I can hold that in place and get it lined up. And then I will come in with the second flap. And again, liquid glue's great for this because you have time to make sure you've got it straight and you don't have to worry about ripping it loose and ruining the paper if you didn't get it straight. All right, so then we'll put glue on the two inside flaps and we'll close the back of this box over those. Now this can be tricky to adhere all that flap to the box. So what I do is bring in my crease tool and use that to push from the inside, and then I have something to press against with my fingers on the outside. So that's my little tip there. We close up this box kind of like a crayon box, and then I'm going to stick my dragonfly on again with foam squares, and of course I'm going to bring in the rainbow drops. I love these things. And the blue again is not the same blue as my cardstock, but once I stick it on there, it's transformed, and it looks like it's just a shade darker than the box, so they're fabulous. And there's like over 750 of these little guys in this box, so you can use them to your heart's content. The last thing I'm going to do, which I think is my favorite thing of this box, I'm bringing in some orange gingham ribbon. I'm going to tie it around that flap, and I'm not going to do anything fancy except a knot, and I think it's so super cute. So we'll just pull that tight and trim off the ends to complete this box. And now I have a super cute gift box I can give with the card. Maybe throw a gift card in there, some candy, and you've got a gift and a card ready to go. So cute. So let's take a look at these two projects together featuring the Dragonfly stamp set by my friend Chelsea Comer. I'll put a link below to where you can get this stamp set and check out her other products that she has on release. And then everything else I've used is linked for you below as well. If you're new here, I'd love for you to subscribe, and I so appreciate all your likes and comments and just checking out my videos. Thank you so much, and happy stamping!